The next train to arrive, platform 1, goes to...
I can't believe that the Working Dog crew have sustained such a high quality of work throughout such a long period of time. It's ridiculous. Rob Sitch is insane.
Even when Glenn Robbins was doing All Aussie Adventures.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like it's so... All Aussie Adventures, it's a simple program. It's just stupid mistakes.
It's super British in that style of humour. Like, not in the style. I mean, obviously it's Australia, but it is... It's a one joke thing.
Yeah.
You know, this stupid guy that tries too hard. But there's so much depth that you can get from doing that well.
One of my favourite kind of recurring jokes in All Aussie Adventures was when Glenn would go in and shake someone's hand and the cut of him shaking a hand would be completely different.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Every time you shake someone's hand, it would be a different hand every time. I loved that. I thought that was the greatest thing
forgot
ever.
about that.
Yeah.
You've awakened something that's been lurking in my mind for 12 years or so and never popped up.
Oh, nice.
And the fact that they did it every time was part of the joke.
Yeah.
After the original joke of we used the wrong footage is done, then the joke is, how could we be doing this wrong every single time?
It almost seems lo-fi in some way.
Yeah, it is kind of DIY because you're kind of using the most of the tools that you have and making it pretty simple, and you can put a fuzzy guitar behind it. It'll sound great.
It's hard to imagine the unimaginable hardships that faced a bloke by the name of Edmund Kennedy. Back in 1843, he came through here searching for a route through to the tip of Cape York. It was a tough, grueling trip, and by the time Kennedy got back, he was dead.
If you ever wanted to pay a visit to your most distant ancestors, then Shark Bay in Western Australia is the place to do it.
Grey kangaroos are among the most sociable of all Australian marsupials.
To save himself, he launches a right hand to the kangaroo's snout. The punch swivels the roo's head.
The cassowary is one of the gigantic birds which inhabited the jungles of Gondwana.
The hand to the pants!
The snake is moving. Snake strikes.
Snake bite.
Males use their sense of smell to find out if a female is sexually available.
Ladies are seriously forming lines everywhere.
And will court her for several days.
We rode all the way, 210 kilometres, down there to show us some tits. We got 0 tits.
Having found one who seems to be promising.
My goal this year is to win the wet t-shirt competition for the 2nd year in a row.
Oh my goodness.
I'm back and I'm walking around somewhere in the middle of Australia. And what I'm going to be doing is incorporating myself into this animal.
Let's see if I can improve the quality of the audio.
Despite its appearance, the cassowary is a relatively recent bird. A giant in terms of present-day birds. They measured almost 4 meters and weighed 250 kilos. But even they had a bigger brother. The elephant bird, weighing 500 kilos. A group of birds which were the first. A group of birds which were the first. A group of birds which were the first to become separated from the main branch of ornithological evolution. The elephant bird live among the dead leaves, decomposing them and releasing heat as they breathe. The elephant bird live among the dead leaves, decomposing them and releasing heat as they breathe. The elephant bird live among the dead leaves, decomposing them and releasing heat as they breathe. The elephant bird live among the dead leaves, decomposing them and releasing heat as they breathe. The elephant bird live among the dead leaves, decomposing them and releasing heat as they breathe. It is believed that somewhere on their tongues or beaks, the elephant bird must have areas which are extremely sensitive to heat.
End bracket.
Cameron.
Shaun, what's going on?
Thank you so much for coming in today.
It's a pleasure to be here in a very different kind of environment from used to. Like, this is a lovely garage.
Thank you very much.
You've decorated it quite elegantly.
Yeah, it's not even really decorated. It's just functional.
It's got its own kind of like just vibe to it, you know. It's so I like it. It's
I think if you put rugs down in the garage, a rug can save a room really. And I put down 40.
So most people would know you as the host of the Band Next Door on 2SER, which is a really important platform for emerging bands in Sydney, probably the most important platform.
Before I talk about that, I wanted to say that nobody really says this to you, except I did when I was drunk, but you do a phenomenal role.
Oh, cheers.
It's like you give everyone a chance, and you're probably one of the only ones that will.
Look, if they have a song that I think sounds cool, then I'm going to play it. If there's something organic and authentic happening, then I'm all about that. Being a local band is definitely a priority. Again, it comes back to the thing of just like if it's coming from a truly natural place.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they're not trying to be something that they're not. They're not writing a song that they'll have in mind, hey, this will get us airplay on X, Y, and Z. It's purely they're doing it because they want to do it and they have something that they want to release out there. Doesn't matter who will like it or not like it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, that's what really sparks it for me as well.
How do you determine that? I mean, that's really hard, I guess. I mean, would broader contexts of, say, you look at the way that they're marketing themselves or doing something else, would that factor into it, or maybe subconsciously?
Yeah, a little bit. I reckon, like, if the more likes a band has on Facebook, the less likely, no pun intended, that they'll get played on the Band Next Door.
And I think that is great. Like,
cool.
That's perfect.
That does weigh a fair bit into it.
Yeah.
If a band's played on Triple J, then most likely I'll just pass it off straight away.
Yeah.
There is definitely an aesthetic I'm after, though.
Is that a genre thing or is that an exposure thing?
I think it's definitely a mixture of both.
Sorry, beer burp.
You're okay. I've been doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's like I can feel like it's something rising up. I'm going, what's happening to me? I'm blowing up like a balloon. Are you a night owl?
Yes, when I'm at home.
Right, yeah, but you don't want to be out late.
No. Unless I'm, of course, doing something. I don't want to be out late for the sake of just being out.
Oh, I hate that. I hate being out
for the sake of being out?
I hate being out for the sake. I like being out and then you look at you watching like, oh, is it that late? I didn't notice because I was having so much fun, rather than looking at your watch going, oh, it's only 9 o'clock.
Yeah. If I had to say a favourite commercial station, I would probably go with 2WS.
1224 2WS. It's 6:15.
It used to be 2WS, and then now it's WSFM. Maybe they changed it back.
Western Sydney Radio, is that what WS stands for?
Oh, that would make sense, right?
I think it would, because they played, like, the classic hits. So I would say it would be a Western Sydney thing, because those Easterners, they listen to shit.
It's either Tupac or Miles Davis for them.
or the Swans commentary.
Leaving the lake for nearby fields, the swans graze on corn.
The weird thing for me is listening to 2WS now, and there's all these new songs that I did not think were classic hits, but they are, and time has passed.
Traffic's moving well this morning and trains are on time.
Next up, 2WS News.
I remember when Triple M started kind of playing like contemporary music, and it was, I thought at the time, it was like an abomination. It's like, you're Triple M guys, you're supposed to be playing.
Did they used to not delve into that?
Oh, they for a while, when they like rebranded as like a younger, more hip station.
Yeah,
they did play a lot of like top 20, top 40 stuff. But originally Triple M was like the Australian rock. All about angels with wings that play guitar. And
yeah, exactly. It is. The logo. It's ridiculous. It's like AC/DC are one of the most amazing bands of all time, but they're like a cartoon already, and their Triple M is like a cartoon of AC/DC's attitude.
They've taken like the stereotype of the Australian bloke, and just amplified it.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
What was it? I don't know. They had all those shows, and one of them was The Cage, and I would just notice that there would just be more and more people on the show each week, it seemed, and until it was just like 40 people just yelling over each other, and it was just nuts. And then someone laughs, someone makes a I don't know, whatever, a blokey joke, A blokey joke?
A blokey joke? Yeah, it sounds good. I like it.
Blokey bloke.
That'd be a good
jokey
name
joke.
for a band, actually. Blokey joke. That'd
Yeah.
be amazing.
It'd be much better than jokey bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blokey joke. Someone makes a blokey joke and then they all just be like, ha 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 ha. And it's like this, like, ha ha, I'm laughing so loud. Ha 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 ha.
And you can just like picture them all like leaning back from the microphone.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They do it as
The only one who's
tossing a football from one side of the room to the other.
they're laughing at how one of them caught it. You caught it
They've
like
all
a
got names
girl.
like, Spazza, Wazza, Blaza,
Gaza, Knobhead.
yeah, Pinger.
It was always really annoying to me because I think I'm getting into something deeper here, but that was what you were supposed to aspire to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
As an Australian male. Like, that is the high school version of it that I know. You're supposed to be like one of the Triple M guys, and if you're not, it's a bit... And it's...
I feel seedy just like thinking about it. Like, I don't want to... I'm sure that if like a commercial...
Will Anderson was on Triple M. Like, it's fine. Like,
was
I'm
Will
not...
Anderson on Triple J as well back in the day?
Yeah, of course. But then he did Triple M for a little bit.
But they always end up going to, somewhere else. Like Myth. Like, I'll give my heart to Myth any day of the week.
Did Myth go somewhere else?
Myth went to Triple M for a while.
Did she? Oh, yeah. Well, yes, so did Will. And then,
even the guys, American Rosso.
They went to Nova.
They went
for
to
a
Nova.
for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And I only started listening to them when they were in Nova. Because that was the age that I was. I didn't know about music yet. Someone still
And Nova was like a fresh station at the time as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was really making the point that it's kind of halfway between Today FM, which is, I think, kind of the equivalent. What is it in Melbourne? Fox FM, and then there's, they were supposed to be halfway between that Today FM thing and Triple J, and that's how they kind of marketed themselves. And they did that well for a while until you realise that, Triple J is barely scratching, is doing a fantastic job, but is, in reality, barely scratching the surface of what could be out there.
Triple J, look, I could rag on Triple J for ages.
It's come up in every podcast.
But I'm sure if they knocked on my door and said, "Hey, would you like a job?" I'd be like, "Fuck yeah! Of course I want to be paid for being on the radio." Who was in a community radio that wants to aspire to be paid?
Yeah.
Say, for example, if like a publicist was to email me, and not personally the band itself, then most likely, again, I won't really give it any attention.
That's so weird because that's just such... I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect, but it's such the opposite of how it usually works, right? Like, it's just...
Yeah, because that's what you pay a publicist for, is to give you publicity. And you're paying
they
for
know people and they...
Yeah, exactly. You're paying for someone's network. But say if the A&R department was to email me and, hey, here's the new song from country singer-songwriter from Albury Wodonga, I probably most likely won't give it a chance. But if that artist was to email me personally and be like, check out the song I wrote, I would give it a go, always.
Yeah.
It might not make the cut as to what's in the programming, but I will definitely have a listen to it.
Right, okay. So it's also that personal connection and there's a DIY aspect to it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Once again, just coming from the musician's perspective here, and not even the successful musician, I guess it makes me probably more qualified in this sense because less likes you have, but we got an offer. Yeah, sorry, there's pipes right next to me, so it's a tall house and shit's gonna fall. It's gonna fall. Where were we going? We're going, and so we got an offer to open for Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, and it was the band emailing us.
Nice.
And they're huge.
Nice.
Like, they didn't need to do that, and it was them emailing us, and I just was blown away.
There is always so much third-party bullshit that is brought into the mix when it doesn't need to be so convoluted. If a band wants to bring in a publisher and they want a manager, sure, but I'd rather not talk to them. I'd rather directly talk to the band itself.
What's your role?
As in, like, a publisher.
Specifically your show.
Yeah.
Captain Keen's Growing Machine. You were just noticing a poster on my wall that I had.
I was just admiring your garage as I was every second of this interview. And to my upper left here, one of your first band posters you were telling me, Shaun.
Yeah, well, it was like we'd done a whole bunch of gigs, but that was the first time we had a poster, and so then I framed it.
Because I've seen the name and I've heard one of the tracks from Captain Keen's Joy Machine. And it was very Which I think it's now that I see it there, it makes perfect sense that they would be in the same lineup as Wow Wow Wow, because I think they had that kind of very video gamey kind of style to their music.
Yeah. Have you ever seen them live?
No, I never got to see them live. There's so many bands I would have loved to have seen live, just based in Sydney.
I've never been so impressed.
That I would have... Really?
Yeah. The story behind that gig was that Brad Cork, who's the singer of Yeeves, went to my school, and he used to have drum lessons after me. And then I needed a smaller band to open, and then he's like, hey, so I'm in this other band, Captain Keen's Joy Machine. It's going to be our last gig. And the reason it was their last gig, because I think one or two of the members was going over to like Germany or Europe somewhere to do their PhD in engineering. Ugh. And the reason that they're all like PhD students in engineering is because they make their own fucking instruments, and their instruments are the most bizarre things ever. They have like a weird keyboard thing that the light and the colors correspond to what's going on, and that beams out into the crowd.
Oh man!
They have it's kind of a human theremin.
Okay.
If anyone doesn't know, a theremin is a musical instrument where you would have seen it before, where it's kind of a spire that sort of comes out of something, and then if you move an object close to it, it's been like.
It's a very good example of a theremin.
So what they did with the theremin, right, is that they had a sort of a bass unit, and there was only one object that could actually set it off and change the pitch of it, which was a pair of sunglasses that lit up on their own, that just lit up, and it just corresponded to where it was in the room. So someone dons sunglasses that are lighting up on the outside and is running through the crowd and on the floor, just like writhing around, and the pictures it's all coming through the PA, just going like, it was, and I was going, I'm never going to see anything like this again. This is the most... I felt so bad because I put them on first, and I was just like, and this is their last gig, and I was like, I am a fucking fool. It's things like that I'm just like, oh God, there's so much. There's so much to see. I mean, that's just Sydney. That's just fucking Sydney.
Yeah.
It's amazing what people are doing. I don't even understand how they can... Anyway, that's my fun story.
That's a very good story. I enjoyed that.
Just let me interview myself, because I just want to tell stories now.
Hello, good evening and welcome. This is the band next door here on 2SER 107.3 on your Thursday night. We're about to go through 2 hours of alternative Australiana. Also coming your way on the show tonight,
Absolutely.
Nathan John Keeney.
Give me your ears open because you never quite know.
Like a comforting beef casserole.
I'm really cool and shares a reflection of dreamy 80s
Hot packed with warmth and flavour.
and a brainchild of multi-instrumentalist.
Or a shoegaze.
Could be its own vitamin. I have yet to ingest it in a physical tablet form.
I love the voice acting.
Right in the earworm. We're trying just around the corner. Like glamorous pageantry.
Here's where this becomes
Brilliant, so to speak.
Doom gaze and
Some way, dare I say.
Lift your cat's tail and gently insert the thermometer.
it's a combination of which makes it
A very exciting balance between jubilance and terror.
some pristine, electronic, infused and organic. My name is Cameron.
This
You're on the band next door.
I got into music in my later years of high school, I guess.
As most people do, yeah.
I was very much it all comes down to my be all and end all, which is Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. He's my dude. Like everything he touches, instantly for me, it turns to gold. And I don't care what it is. It's amazing, and I will fight you for it tooth and nail.
Did you go to the Entertainment Centre gig a few years ago?
Yes.
Did you win
with Queen's Stone Age?
Stone Age? Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
It was an enjoyable.
And that was on my birthday as well.
Ooh.
6th of March, 2014.
Here's a fun fact. You and I are born 5 days apart.
Really? So you're a Pisces as well?
I'm a Pisces, and I'm an 89 Pisces.
That will explain the water running through the pipes just beforehand.
Yeah.
Must be a sign.
Swimming with the turds. I saw you studied, you had a BA with a major in contemporary music.
That was never really completed.
This is a recurring theme among many of my guests.
Yeah, so like I got into 2SER because I was really into production and audio engineering.
Right, okay.
Purely because Trent was a big fan of hardware and technology. And I'm like, well, you know, Trent makes all these amazing sounds and does such a good job. It's like, I want to do that too. That sounds really cool. So I went to TAFE at Ultimo and did a Cert 3. And then I went to North Sydney TAFE and did my Cert 4 and diploma of audio production. So I went to Macquarie Uni, majoring in contemporary music because that's all I cared about. I didn't care about science or business or any of the other kind of faculties or departments that were there.
You don't want any of that smart stuff.
No,
the fancy folk and nothing.
Who needs that, you know? I'm just some guy, I just dig my sounds. So my music lecturer, Becky Shepherd, said, hey, there's a new show starting up about Macquarie Uni Live. If people want to get involved, let me know.
That's
so
right.
I was like, you know, if people need help with production, I would happily do any of that.
What actual other aspect of music production would be used in a community radio show?
Not much.
No.
Okay. I just enjoy just kind of paneling the desk and just kind of doing edits and piecing it all together and just sending it off. I was happy doing that.
Yeah.
And I started to like craft putting together interviews and to, you know, layer music beds and to cut from, you know, sound effects and stuff like that.
Right.
And then one day the office manager was like, you know, so-and-so can't do the daily today. Could you fill in? Just play some music and talk about it. So I was like, cool, yeah, no worries. I can do that.
What was that day like?
I was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
Because I was freaking out. But after like 2.5 hours, I was like, this is great. This is amazing.
Yeah. It is a bit of a rush, isn't it?
It's great. I'm like, holy shit, man. Like, I'm being broadcasted throughout the entire greater Sydney area. Like, I get to play what I think is cool songs. I don't care what you guys think, but...
And there's something about that also, that live energy as well, because, you know, the pressure is not on in this room.
No.
The most pressure we're feeling is not to piss or burp while we're talking. So, like, that's the main source of tension. And the first time I went on radio, I was so scared that I cancelled it. And I'm just like, I can't do it this week. I don't feel like I can do it because it was my friend's show. And then the next week I did go on and I was scared shitless. Like, it's so... The moment that I froze up over a word and knowing that freeze was everywhere, you know, that's a scary moment.
That's the thing though, like you feel like those freezes go for 2 minutes, but it's more like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's a hurdle I think everyone who is in radio has had at least at some point when they first start out. Like obviously no one's perfect straight off the bat.
So you have to fill 2 hours of radio every week.
Yeah.
And it's all new music and it's all local music.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. I mean,
It does take a lot of time. So say, for example, if I have a 2-hour program and I've got no guests coming on, I've got no pre-recorded interviews to play, then I have to at least have an hour and 40 minutes worth of music. And look, I'm not a musician. I'm the last guy that should be anywhere near an instrument. I'm happy with my place.
You're around a fair few at the
moment.
moment.
To be behind the desk. So being in here and having you ask me questions, I'm completely thrown off my game right now. And I have... it's an odd feeling.
Right.
It's cool, but it's also kind of odd because no one's ever asked me how I put the show together.
Really? Surely someone has.
I have
in a
rehearsed
non-podcast
these questions
setting.
in my head to myself. And
Right.
walked around saying, you know, in my room, whoa, Cameron, why do you ask that? Because...
So you did the drive show.
So I did Drive. I did the Daily as well on Wednesday, I think it was. Looking back at it now, if someone said to me, can you fill in for the Daily? I'd be like, no way.
Right.
Dailies, it's changed a lot. It's gotten a lot more professional, and you have to be someone that really kind of understands politics and culture, pop culture. I don't know anything about pop culture.
No, neither.
Or politics.
You're here on the band next door. You can follow me on the Twitter if you want to, but there isn't much there. I'm sorry. Have I just killed Twitter?
I actually would have thought you would be a politically aware kind of guy. I noticed you, like, I was going to say that you don't seem terribly it's not like with some people that I get on this podcast, I'll do my research and I'll sort of, and that will include a little bit of just social media lurking. Not much, but just a slight amount, just to get a feel for what they kind of value or what is important to them or, what they spend their time doing. And often it can be just very, very strong opinions politically, of which I also have. But generally I do keep it to myself most of the time.
My politics is that I would just like everybody to treat each other fairly and nicely. That's my life philosophy. Just be cool to people, and people will be cool to you, because then what is there to be a dick about? Like, it's yin and yang. What goes around comes around. So,
and it's probably best that we don't talk about politics anyway, because I've had a no Trump rule simply because this is going to be up in like 6 weeks, and by that time, who knows what he will have done.
I constantly enjoy watching Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Oh,
and
it's
just
great.
Hearing his like 10-minute segments about who shall not be named. And just like, man, really? Like, really?
Is it really to John Oliver or really to Trump?
Real to Trump.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah,
it's
it's.
Okay, no.
No. We could talk about Trump generally, because we could have had this conversation 6 months ago, and you just like the really conversation. Really?
It's like, it's such a change. You got someone who's incredibly civilized, like Barack. Yeah. And then you've got pretty much the complete opposite coming in straight afterwards.
Yeah, it's the pendulum swing. You know what they say.
Yin and yang.
That's the pendulum swing, you know what they say,
Yin and yang.
For sure. I mean, it really goes to show
that there.
That's a good idea.
I don't know how much people actually pay attention to what's happening on the band next door. Like, I'll always try to have, depending on what kind of voice starts a program, whether it be like a male voice or a female voice, I'll always try to rotate it all the time. So it'll be,
really?
Male, female, male vocal, female vocal, male vocal, female vocal.
As a starter track to the show each week.
Yeah.
So,
not as a starter track, but as a way to alternate between a female vocal and a male vocal.
Yeah.
So not to keep it like all guys or all women.
Right. Wait. Are you talking about the playlist is male, female,
or the other way around?
I had never noticed that before.
Oh, cool.
You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half.
I had never noticed that before.
Oh, cool.
Well, no, that probably makes you feel annoyed because no, I hadn't noticed that.
Oh,
but I should have.
It's again, like, I don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't know. Maybe if people listening to the band next door is just like a coffin fodder background music, or if they're actually paying attention to it. But just the way that I feel comfortable doing it is that I'd rather have a diverse range of vocals, because who wants to hear some guy from some bratty underground punk band like 4 times in a row?
Yeah.
No one.
And also, I mean, I said I didn't notice it, but whether I noticed it or not doesn't really matter when you think about it. It's about the playlist. It matters
to me. I couldn't care what people think if they're listening to it.
No, I know. Well, it matters that you notice it, but all that stuff happens on a subconscious level. It's like when they talk about, there was recently some issues with people not including enough female acts in festivals and things like that.
Yeah.
And the reason, obviously, that is important is not because they need to fill a quota. It is important so people get used to the idea and used to the concept. It's not the quota saying, "Oh, we've ticked the box now." It's trying to affect change through that, and it is unconsciously. Like, the people don't say on the bill, female acts as well. Like, it's trying to do it to something broader than that. So in that way, I think that it doesn't matter if someone notices or not. It's
I guess not. It's
making a difference.
Again, it all comes down to me just wanting to be able to push a diverse range of vocals from all walks of life.
Right.
So sometimes I'll be on like Wednesday nights, I'll be like, I need a female vocal for a punk band at this time. I'll pull my hair out for it, like trying to find it on Bandcamp or Triple J Unearthed or something.
Yeah.
Eventually, I might fall back onto something that's a bit older, but as long as I get that gap filled of a particular kind of sound I'm after, then I'm happy.
Then you're sorted.
I'm going to move on to the next one. Tick that box.
Speaking of ticking boxes.
I'm happy when I tick a box. I'm worried when I tickle a fox. I'm hungry when I'm on a detox. I don't know what I'm doing. Every day is confusing. People find it amusing. So that is why I like to tick a box.
So you took over the Band Next Door.
The Band Next Door is one of 2SER's oldest shows. It's been going for 30 years or so. And
That's crazy.
Just inherited the reins from Celine, who inherited the reins from Tim, who inherited the reins from Mike.
Johnny Carson, and then
I can't remember for the life of me who comes before that.
It is like The Tonight Show, though. Like, it is this sort of... I can't think of many shows that have lasted that long. Like, in terms of... Was it always the title, The Band Next Door?
Yeah.
Right, so there was no rebranding at that point. We were calling it, like, Local Beats or something like that. I did 1 year of radio. I had a co-host to bounce off. And on this show, the podcast, I have guests. So
cool.
I don't... Well, you're a guest, you know this. No, but, there's always someone to bounce things off. Having the responsibility of a show all to yourself... I'm actually going somewhere slightly different with this. That actually means there's quite a lot on you to listen to music very closely, as we were talking about before. Mm-hmm. Have you found is the days of recreationally listening to music diminished for you? Are they over? Or is it? Do you just enjoy it in a different way now?
I think I enjoy it in definitely a different way. I'm so entrenched in my local hole, so to speak, that and I love my hole, don't get me wrong, my borough is a lovely borough. But like if someone said to me, hey, St. Vincent has a new album out, go listen to it, it's not going to be high on my list of things to go out of my way to listen to.
Right.
I love local music.
Yeah.
Like I love it to death.
You love live music as well.
I love live music too. I love anything. If I was to bang this beer bottle against your table and shatter it into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, don't do that.
I would be so happy with myself because I'd be like, damn, that's fucking creational right
there. Yeah, you made something.
And what was the question again?
The question was that surely before you listened to the show, you're obviously a huge music fan. So before you were on the show, before you had such a huge responsibility to fill 2 hours every week for 5 or 6 years, one of the two, you would have probably not even considered creating a new playlist of 2 hours a week of new songs. How does that affect in terms of time management?
It does take nearly every free minute of my time. Like if I'm not at work, if I'm not at work, or if I'm not at the gig, I'll be at home going through my sources for music. And there is times when like Thursday afternoons at 4:30, and I have to write my post about what's happening on that night, and I haven't got an hour and 40 minutes, I'll be just freaking out, thinking like, there's no point anymore, fuck it, might as well just not do this show and call in sick. But eventually I always end up getting there, and by the time 10 o'clock rolls around, it's just that kick of adrenaline works as well. And that's, I guess, the main thing, really. Like, once you get the ball rolling, it's hard to stop. I went through a big Aqua Teen Hunger Force phase.
I never got into that.
Oh, man. I brought all the DVDs.
Right.
And I thought it was...
People loved that show.
I thought it was the funniest thing. And now if I go back and watch the first episode, I'm like scratching my head, just like wondering...
Really?
What? Really? Why?
Is that... Because I think a lot of people get that with kind of modern cartoons like Family Guy. Like sometimes you go back and Family Guy is not as funny as you remember.
I think what I liked about Aqua Teen was that it was just so different, really. It was such a niche, bizarre, like offbeat kind of humor that Family Guy wasn't necessarily doing, Futurama wasn't doing.
So Aquatine Hunger Force floated boat. What about Tim and Eric? Was that kind of thing?
Not so much Tim and Eric. I was Harvey Birdman.
Okay.
Metalocalypse.
Never heard of that before.
Never. Okay, Metalocalypse. If you were a metal fan, which I was in my high school years, like I was like a terrible wannabe goth.
So it was 9 Inch Nails.
9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, Limp Bizkit for a while.
Right, okay.
The first record I ever purchased was Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish Hot Dog Flavored
I'm sure
Water.
that was plenty of people's first records. Just
that
before that,
was-
you would have had the Blink-182 records. I imagine this was many other people's first records. Not saying yours, but, you know, around the time that I was, everyone's first album was either Limp Bizkit or...
What was your first single that you ever got, though?
My first single that I ever got was All Torn Down by The Living End.
That's cool.
I was pretty happy. It had, I can't remember if it had 2 or 3 extra songs on it. All I know is that it included, they did a cover of Tainted Love by Soft Cell.
Oh, nice.
Have you ever heard The Living End?
Not the Living End version, no. I've heard many other people do that cover.
Marilyn Manson did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
On the soundtrack to Not Another Teen Movie, I think it was.
Yeah, it seems unsuitable for that. I know it was for that.
Yeah,
but
it also
yeah.
features on Golden Age of Grotesque.
Oh, so it is like bonus track, or was it actually part of it?
No, I think it was actually part of it.
Right, and that was a huge album too.
Golden Age?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Oh wait,
his,
or am I thinking of?
It wasn't his finest
Obscene?
moment. You're thinking of Mob Scene. That
was a
tune?
song.
That was a song.
Yeah.
B Obscene. B Obscene.
That's the one.
It's all like flooding back to me now, man.
What album was that?
That was Golden Age of Grotesque.
Okay, right.
But like, no, Manson's like kind of real moral panic.
Yeah.
Was like Antichrist Superstar, Mechanical Animals, and Hollywood.
And is that all pre?
That was pre-Golden Age.
Yeah.
And Hollywood was his first record after the Columbine massacre shooting.
And they were fans of his, weren't they? The
Apparently.
shooters? Yeah, it was one of those things.
Apparently.
Yeah.
It's like he.
And this is just after everyone blamed The Simpsons for everything.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, close friends of the perpetrators. Is that even the correct word? Perpetrators of the ones that took out or who undertook the massacre.
Oh, the shooting. Perpetrators would be the correct term,
Okay,
I guess,
perpetrators.
Yeah.
So those people who were close to the perpetrators.
I thought you were talking about a band called The Perpetrators.
People who were close to the perpetrators say that they weren't fans of Manson,
right?
But because Manson was, at the time, I guess
he was polarizing, and he enjoyed being the scape. Well, not saying enjoyed, but he was. I remember it. I remember when it was like, oh, you listen to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
It was, all that weird, creepy stuff. I remember my older brother, who's 8 years older than me, right? So he was a big fan of Tool, and then I think I remember around when he was in year 10 or something, which means I would have been in, year 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was talking about music, and I'm going, what about Tool? You used to always play Tool, and those videos were weird, and of those weird, creepy things. He goes like, oh, no, I don't listen to Tool anymore. They're satanic. He went through a Christian phase for about 3 months, and then, sorry, if you are Christian, no, but
that's cool. I'm not. No,
I was just, but the point was that they were lumped in with that scapegoating, and
which is weird because Tool aren't that kind of band at all.
No, but Marilyn Manson's always a little bit silly as well. It is
Marilyn
kind
Manson is like a reimagination of Alice Cooper, essentially.
Completely. And I only just listened to the Mark Maron podcast with Alice Cooper.
Okay,
and Manson came up a fair bit, in a positive light. And there was that moment that I only just realised what that was the other day. Marilyn Manson is Alice Cooper.
Yeah, just for a new generation, essentially. There was this old, I wouldn't say old, but an interview from when the kind of Columbine thing happened with one of Marilyn Manson's old guitarists, Daisy Berkowitz, because it was great because all of Manson's band members were named after models and serial killers.
Right. Okay.
So Marilyn Monroe and Charles Manson. Twiggy Ramirez, so Twiggy the model and Richard Ramirez, the serial killer.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So a former member who was saying, it was really kind of weird because Marilyn Manson always made out to be that he was the Antichrist. He was the demon of everybody's dreams. So when Manson tried to distance himself from the Columbine shootings, that was the worst career move they could possibly ever make. Because why not say then that he was responsible for it in some way and then always be known as like the be-all and end-all of what satanic music is?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. It is a massive turnaround.
Yeah.
But
What can you do though in that
Marilyn
situation?
Manson has a conscience.
Yeah. He's a very smart man.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's considered and he's soft-spoken.
He is softly spoken, although the few times I have seen him play live, I've always been disappointed with how it's turned out.
Right. In what area we just put him? How much of it do you feel was just because you're a big fan?
I went to see him because I was a fan when I was in high school. I've seen Manson probably play twice now. Once
Right.
at a Horden and once at Soundwave.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yep.
The Horden gig, like I enjoyed it, but you know,
What album was this touring?
Oh, this would have been Eat Me, Drink Me. So Eat Me, Drink Me, it was fun and I enjoyed it, but it didn't give me the same kick that I had when I listened to him when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And then when I saw him at Soundwave, it looked like that he just didn't give a shit at all. And it started great, but it quickly just went downhill. He kept walking off stage. I could see like his handlers would have to like push him back on, you know, and like give him the microphone. He just wouldn't take it.
Oh, are you fucking serious?
No, I'm deadly serious.
I've never seen that at a gig.
It was
Someone being forced back on stage.
Embarrassing, man.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing, and it was just like, why are you here?
Someone should just flush that turd down, you know?
I still hold a soft spot for Manson as I do.
As you do for any band that you enjoy.
Exactly, but it's not the same as when it's something when you're in high school and you're like 15 years old and you've never heard anything quite like that ever.
No, yeah.
And it's like, because I went to a Catholic high school as well.
So did I.
So, you know, it was like 9 till 3 of Bible this, Bible that, go to chapel before school, go to have say the Our Father before every class. And so,
What?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's pretty bad.
It was very, very interesting because our science coordinator,
let's call him Mr. Black.
Mr. Black. So my friend X, or Mr. White. So Mr.
Mr. White has to be a teacher. Your friend
Mr.
could
White,
be X.
So Mr. White is sitting in science class, and Mr. Black, who is the science coordinator, curriculum coordinator, says, "Look, you know, we'll say the Our Father before we begin." So they say the Our Father, and then my friend Mr. White goes, "Isn't it a bit ironic, seeing as how you're teaching us about the Big Bang, yet we just said the Our Father?" And then Mr. Black is like, "That's it. You go to your year master's office. Blah,
really?
blah, blah, yada, yada, yada."
Yep.
It was so stupid. And I hated religious school. I hated having to do RE in year 11 and 12, my HSC.
You had to do the full 2 units of
Not
RE?
Not the full 2 units. I could either do 2 or 1. I did 1, but I didn't want to do 1. I wanted to do none.
My primary school, right, was on a current affair.
Wow. That's not a good start.
No, it's not. They were... Oh, I can't... I don't know what happened to this school now, and I don't know if it's still like this, but everyone that came out of it had at least their... First half of their 20s were very strange. They either went super one way or super the other. So this is a school that... When they outlawed... Were you ever hit in school?
Hit like punched?
No, like hit by like a teacher.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah. Look, I was.
Really?
It wasn't illegal until, I think, 97, 98.
Wow.
You could have a religious exemption for it.
Oh,
and
fuck that shit.
Yeah. And so there was a religious exemption, and so we were all like hit. And even for stuff that was like fucked up. I remember my sister, who is a whole bunch of years older than me, but the same policy still applied when I was there, but this is a particularly bad example. You know when you're in kindergarten, you write your name on the top right of the sheet or whatever, and she wrote it on the wrong side of the sheet. Hit. Just that kind of shit. Like, it was just, I remember once here's a less bad example. Like, you know, we're all supposed to line up in the assembly thing or whatever. You know, the assembly, you line up. That's a thing, right? Yeah, so we all lined up and, you know, you're not supposed to be all chatty and shit. But, you know, I was talking to my friend, just walk past, just slap on the shin or whatever. Like, you know, just all this stuff. And it was... and then when they actually outlawed it, said you can't have religious exemption anymore, then they were like trying to take it to court and they were trying to challenge it, and they were on a current affair. It was 2 Christian schools doing this. Yeah, it was really bad. And then so when I went to my high school, which was still pretty religious, not that fucking far, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was really nice. But like they taught us like we couldn't talk about the Simpsons Halloween episodes because that was the devil, that was evil. Like, you know, you shouldn't even talk about that shit. You know, evolution was
frowned upon.
It wasn't there. They had to teach evolution. Our sex ed was just about the baby's progression in the womb.
Okay,
there was nothing before that, and everyone was talking about Healthy Harold and all this shit. And when I got to high school, which was a different school, and I was like, "Who's Healthy Harold? What is?"
You never
all this
had Healthy Harold?
No,
and even I had Healthy Harold when I was in primary school.
I know, that's nuts.
Oh, dude, you're missing out on so much.
I know. Wasn't there a weird van that he got all the kids in? That sounds wrong.
Yeah, he was a giant giraffe. He got all the kids in his van.
He was a giraffe. That's right. Yeah, right.
He was. I had such a great time with Healthy Harold. No, like weird stuff. It was just cool. Like his van had like all these like interesting gadgets in it, and like hidden compartments. And so you would like
just like a real giraffe.
So you like press a button and like a shelf, you know, behind you would like shoot out with like you know a display of like the human heart or something.
That's pretty cool.
It was great.
They really, you can see why it was so widely
appreciated.
Widely appreciated and used. And, utilized. Yeah,
they tried to can it, I think, recently, and then they brought it back due to the public demands.
Right. So wait, they tried to
they tried to like just get rid of it.
Is that because the education has changed and there's no longer so much for a need for it?
I couldn't tell you the specific things. All I know is that the government tried to get rid of it, and then people were like, well, people brought it back. You know, they tried to kill off MS Paint. They brought it back.
Did they bring it back?
They brought it back.
When they're trying to kill it off only a month ago?
I think it was more like 2 months ago.
Sure.
But no, apparently it was brought back. The people demand it, and the people get what they want. It's definitely always a story of the underdog, and once the underdog becomes the big dog, no one cares about it anymore. Like after
no one cares about the big dog.
After like Julia Gillard got into power after Kevin Rudd, and Kevin Rudd became the deputy PM.
No.
Or someone in the Liberal Party.
He was Foreign Affairs Minister.
Foreign Affairs, and people still were like, "Hey, Kevin's the underdog, and he should be back where he was."
Yeah.
Then when he did get back there, no one cared.
Yeah.
And Kevin was like, "All right, see you later."
Tell them to cancel this meeting at 6 o'clock. We don't have the fucking patience to do it.
When Malcolm Turnbull became PM,
that was weird.
I was at Newtown Social Club that night. It was a Monday night. I was there for Swerve Society, and I was watching Mezco do his set.
Okay.
And then once Mezco finished, one of their members goes, I think we have a new PM.
Isn't it weird how it's just always announced that way? Yeah. Particularly when Julie Gillard became Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Like, that was so weird. We had a Prime Minister, and then we had another one the next morning, and they were just like, look, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty, the details, and it's like, but you have to. You have to, because it's too weird.
I had friends that day that were saying, I don't recall voting for Julia, and I'm like, do you have any idea how politics in Australia works? You don't vote for the Labour, you don't
vote the leader.
You're voting for your local member of Parliament.
Yeah. It's not the American system.
This isn't. How
it's the Westminster system.
The Westminster Abbey, blah blah blah.
The Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey only care about what the upper elites are doing. There's this great joke that Shaun Micallef has, I think, where he's like talking about Malcolm Turnbull, and he says Malcolm is the kind of person that would fast forward through the slave parts in Downton Abbey.
Hi. Some floors come in for a lot of punishment. Katie here's been scrubbing this floor all day with this leading brand of detergent, but still it remains dirty. Clearly, Katie is incompetent and must be sacked.
Can we just have a moment of appreciation for Mr. Shaun Micallef?
Oh, fuck yeah.
I think he might be the greatest.
I was never a big fan. I never got to see any of the skit stuff that he did until he started doing Mad as Hell.
Right.
Once I found Mad as Hell and I went back and found out all his previous material and stuff like that, I was like, this guy's on the money. He's smart.
He's smart.
And he's very charismatic.
He's smart and he's great with words.
Yes.
You know, it's biting, it's quick.
And that's what I love about a lot of English comedy as well, is that it's so...
He has got that English bent to him,
like it's so dry and it's not like overly slapstick.
Yeah.
You know, it's not relying on the physical humor as such. It's more of...
But there's still elements of that sometimes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what makes it great. So, like, there is that happening, but it's very much of a... like you said, it's very witty. It's very snappy.
I went to a Q&A of his because I've always just been a huge fan.
Yeah, cool.
And it was a Q&A. And I think I asked him a question about what do you see? You tried this format, you tried that format. What do you see the kind of future being? And he's going, I really like what they do with The Daily Show. I really like what they do that. I reckon you could add this kind of Monty Python shit to The Daily Show.
Yeah,
and just see what you can do. And then as soon as Mad as Hell came out,
yeah,
I'm just like, oh, I get it. It's this absurd play thing. I don't know, it's kind of genius.
Did you ever see The Late Show on the ABC back in like the early to mid 90s?
So was that Mick Malloy?
Mick Malloy, Rob Sitch.
Yeah. I never saw it.
There's like a greatest hits thing you can get from the ABC shop.
Right, okay.
Best moments of The Late Show. And it's got that mixture that Mad as Hell kind of has. It's more skit orientated, but it comes across more as like a variety show than anything else. And that crew, that Burning Dogs production outfit,
Working Dog,
sorry.
Yeah.
Where do they get Burning Dogs from?
Burning Man.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
I'm running into fires over at Burning Man.
And you're a dog.
Barf, 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 woof, woof, woof. So yeah, we're Working Dog and like, you know, the stuff like The Castle and Utopia.
Utopia is a goddamn brilliant show.
And like my dad will sit there and he just says to me, "This is just my workplace."
Where does your dad work?
He works at a it's like an engineering firm, pretty much.
Right, but it has the social media aspect, it has the marketing aspect, and it has the bureaucracy aspect.
Yes, it has all of that.
Talking about this the other day, someone goes, "What's the difference between British and American humour?" And I'm going, well, on the American Whose Line Is It Anyway, everyone said, like, woo, more. And on the British one, everyone laughed like this.
Yes.
Like, it's like piercing.
How do you feel about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Too.
I don't know much of the more recent seasons.
Okay.
And I know you do because we became friends on Facebook today. And I saw you had a picture of him up somewhere. And I was like, well, he's my guy.
I think that...
I'm so surprised. I did not expect it to be a good show.
Really?
Well, I just...
Oh, yeah, okay, well,
they work in a bar. I just didn't think... I don't know. Danny DeVito was in it. I didn't think that would be funny.
Once someone kind of pointed out its parallels to Seinfeld in a way, I got it straight away.
Absolutely.
But I still remember the first time I ever saw It's Always Sunny. I was home one night. I just got home from a gig. I had warmed up pizza in the microwave, flicking through TV, and it's this episode when Charlie's putting on The Nightman Cometh play.
That's the first episode I saw.
Are you serious?
I think because the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia crew has been going on for so long now. Like, what are they up to? Like, season what?
12?
I think it's further than that. I think
it's 12.
Right, okay. Well, yeah. Regardless, 12 that's a high number. And from what I understand, It's Always Sunny is kind of going that South Park route of finding their insane niche and going within that.
Yeah. There's always a moment when a show realizes that they've become a caricature of themselves.
Yes.
But
around that season 7, 8 mark.
But It's Always Sunny embraces that aspect really well and manages to kind of twist new things out of it, I reckon.
Well, I think when you consider the qualities of the characters in Always Sunny that are ripe for caricature are so funny in caricature consistently as well that it works, and they really descended into that by like season 3 they had Danny DeVito as the dad, and he was one of the gang, and he wasn't their dad anymore because they just decided that he adopted them or something.
Yeah.
Didn't they kill, and then they killed the mum, and it was all crazy.
Yeah, the mum died.
I'll probably put myself down a little bit. Hey man, don't put yourself down.
Is there I think there's like a slight echo.
There is, and it's really, really irritating. So
That's okay.
if you do choose to...
look, we'll see how far we get. We'll cross the bridge when we get to it.
Yeah,
It is,
cool.
yeah, it is a bizarre...
It's just a nanosecond too late, and it just makes everything...
It might be software monitoring.
It is software monitoring.
All right,
Sweet.
I'm going to take this off just because of that.
It annoys the crap out of me as well.
Okay.
So, all right, Cameron. Welcome. Welcome back. Did you ever write music?
No.
Didn't know about that. I thought you might have.
I used to play, I guess a little bit. Did the whole piano thing when I was younger because the parents.
Everyone did piano. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it's just like something you have to do.
Is that pressure still there, or is that just like 90s kids did piano?
I remember having to do keyboard in high school.
Just having to do it.
Yeah.
As part of music?
No. Well, yeah. Yes.
But you had to do music.
Yes.
Right.
Wait. Sorry. No. When I was in 7, 8, and 9. We had to do music. Music was a subject.
Right, yeah. I remember this,
It wasn't an elective or anything that I picked.
It's just one of those weird side subjects. It's just like, here are your mains, and on the side we have geography.
So, we did that in high school, but I played guitar for a little bit. I started to want to play guitar. Eventually, kind of just I lost inspiration and motivation to keep playing, and I just I liked what I was doing with the radio.
One thing that struck me, actually, probably not about what you said just then, but about something that you said before, that you liked a lot of good artists.
Okay.
They were just the bigger ones before you started on the band next door. I remember that moment for me as well. Not that I had to do nearly as much local searching as you did, but, it is a change of your whole psyche. It is a change of your whole process about your week and everything you do. And I couldn't even, with the amount of time I would have spent on it, wouldn't have been a fucking anything. Because I was doing 90 minutes split with another guy. So that means I was doing, 45 minutes?
Okay.
You just do 2 hours.
I enjoy it. Essentially, it's because I'm just a fan of what's happening in Sydney. And I don't have any other fancy way of explaining it. I really enjoy what these people, they're just everyday people, you can't make a living purely off music anymore, so everyone has to work a job. I wish I could say 2SE I was being, I don't know, that I was a paid staff member of 2SER, but I'm just a volunteer.
It's difficult, I don't think anyone can take that as a criticism. That is just the nature of the beast.
I'm a volunteer.
Yes.
As the majority, 95% of 2SER's kind of staff are. Apart from a select few who actually run the station and keep it on the air. We're all just volunteers, so everyone who does a show purely is a volunteer.
Yeah.
So I would love to say that I had a source of income, but no musician, I guess, really does have a source of income because everyone has to have something else going on. So it's cool in a way that everyone is just, we're all just regular people. No one's overly special. We're all just regular people. No one's overly special. We're all just regular people. No one's overly special. We're all just regular people. And so it's people are going out of their way to make this amazing music. And every week, I'm just flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And we're
I
just
guess
like,
it really...
it's just, this is, like this guy, a friend of mine who somehow just made this song. It's like, I never would have done that. That's fucking awesome.
How did you get that far? Like, it's almost led to a kind of creative renaissance in a weird way. I don't know how else to explain it.
I think renaissance is a very, I don't know.
That might be a bit
bourgeois term to use, because we're just from the streets.
Exactly.
We aren't, any of you fancies with your suits and your bow ties.
We're just from the streets.
We're just from the streets,
just
man.
watch out.
We're sitting in a garage right now recording this.
Watch out. We're from the streets.
We're as garages you can get right now.
Watch out.
We're the suburbians. This is
Stanmore Road.
This is a suburbia.
We're in the streets.
The streets of
Broadway.
Sydney, man.
George Street.
Pitt Street.
Yes.
King Street.
The other King Street.
Is there two King Streets?
There's the King Street
in the
city.
CBD, yes.
And that goes through Pitt Street Mall, I think.
No, Pitt Street Mall's Pitt Street Mall.
No, like Crossways.
Oh, yeah.
What about listening to older stuff, right? Like, you're a music fan, you would be a fan of bands that are not new.
I've got my favourites, like everybody else has their favourites, and it is relaxing to go back to that stuff every now and again.
The comfort food.
Exactly. And I feel like I've had my palate cleansed, so to speak. And there are times as well when maybe like I won't be in the mood to listen to anything at all and just not put my ears through anything apart from like watching TV maybe.
This is a weird question. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Awesome. Me too.
Cool.
That works.
Let's be friends.
Let's be friends. I was thinking, like, because you started that, so you would have been 22 or 23 when it started.
About that sounds right.
And by the time you're 22, 23, you've got a whole huge catalogue of music you love.
I came into Australian music very late.
Right.
I didn't grow up listening to Triple J. I didn't grow up listening to 2SER.
That is interesting to me.
Apart from like video hits on Saturday mornings and maybe for a brief period Pepsi Live when that was a thing.
Oh, I forgot about Pepsi Live.
That was it. I knew nothing about Australian music until I kind of really started doing the band next door. I wouldn't have had apart from like, I guess, the major acts at the time and the kind of top 20, top 40 musicians that were from Australia, I wouldn't really have looked into it because I kind of always listened to, I guess, American top 40 music in some aspects.
Right. That's actually, what age would you say that changed? Because, so would it say literally when you started?
Yeah.
So in that sense, how did you come to host it?
Well, originally so before I was doing Band Next Door, I was doing the Wednesday Drive on 2SER for a while.
Oh, okay, right.
And Celine, who was the previous show host for Band Next Door, was moving on to bigger and better things. So I pitched a music show idea to our music director, and it was going to be an hour show of just stoner metal, and I was going to call it Ounces of Oz. It was going to be
Ounces of Oz.
Ounces of Oz.
Right. I've got it. Got it.
Cool.
I've got it.
It was going to be like Australian stoner metal, pretty much.
Right.
And then I kind of realized that it would have been very hard to always have new local stoner metal bands.
Yeah, it's a very limited.
Niche kind of thing. It's very limited.
Was the plan for it to be Sydney or
no? Just Australia.
Small. Yeah, right.
But then our music director was like, "Celine's going on to XYZ. Do you want to try Band Next Door?" And so I was like, all right, cool. A program's a program.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realized how much I enjoyed all aspects of it, like all genres of music.
Yeah. I found during the very short time that I was on the radio that I'd always been tried more in my 20s. I'd always tried to be more open with music, but just the sheer act of forcing yourself to listen to a wide variety of stuff that is outside of your own preferences, when you have to think, when the choices you make of what you listen to extends beyond the immediate of I should listen to this because I might like it.
Yeah.
Then that's when you, I think, get a real appreciation
Exactly.
for music.
And I'm like, I'll be going through my things or through my sources, and I'll be like, this is coming from Sydney, man. How cool is this? Like, America doesn't have this stuff here. This is represent.
Yeah.
And that was just a kick.
Oh, please help yourself to some lemon water.
Oh, cheers. Thank you.
Oh, gosh, it'd be lovely if I could have some lemon water.
It is actually very nice water. You've, I'm fond of water all the time. But no, you've done a good job with like a good, just like a crisp flavor of lemon.
You're saying I nailed the zest.
Yes.
All right. That's
Your
all.
zest is
That's
the
all
best.
I've ever really wanted.
Your zest is the best.
If I can get them with the zest.
If you can't, win them with the water.
If I can get them with the zest, if I can't win them with the water. I did mean to ask you about this. And
Okay.
You what's this thing? What?
as you lean across the table and point at me with your pen and just say, "So what is this thing? What's the deal?"
With aeroplane food. What's the deal? 2SER is your volunteer job.
Yeah.
And you do this purely out of your own passion. And it is, as I was saying before, that there's something that I was trying to explain, that there's a renaissance of music that comes from people that will not be rewarded financially for it.
Yeah.
Generally. And so it's left people that just really love it and people that love it a lot but then get caught up in the business of it.
Yes.
There's also the people that are just really hardworking and they just happen to be in that field.
Yes.
Those people give me the shits. It's also the personality ones. It's like, do you really love it, man, or do you just love yourself? Where am I going with
Egos.
this?
I'm not sure.
No, egos.
Egos, yeah.
No, but that exists. In my short time in radio, I found that a little bit.
I think everyone needs an ego, though, to give them some kind of confidence, in a way.
Yeah.
2SER has, like, doing radio has given me, like, a good confidence boost. Kind of, as kind of lame as that sounds in a way. It's like, I used to, like, have, like, a fair stutter. I was very, like, shy around people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, doing radio and having to articulate my words and kind of actually say something nice and, I don't know, have it be appealing to everybody else has given me, in a way, confidence. No. I have another production job for an internet-based company.
Yes.
Internet-based podcasting station called Eagle Waves Radio.
And I was going to ask you about that.
They're based at a place in the CBD called Vivo Cafe. And just around the cafe inside the cafe is a tiny little 3-microphone podcasting recording station.
Oh, great.
Called Eagle Waves Radio. And
so is it like do you have to go up any stairs? Are there any secret crevices?
No.
Damn it.
It's just purely once you walk inside the cafe, just walk right to the end and you'll see it. You can't miss it.
Does it have a door?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you can then close it. That's pretty cool.
So I just look after that studio for them and I do their audio production for them.
That's really cool. I really like that.
Oh,
Is it kind of like a cool, is it soundproof and everything like that? I mean, obviously
it's not
treated.
necessarily soundproof. So
yeah.
Because the station is small business minded and small business focused.
Yeah.
So they're all about SMEs, young entrepreneurs, that kind of thing. So once people are recording, you actually kind of in the background hear the sound of the cafe.
Can you turn down
Right, okay.
So it sounds like they're recording it, which they are in a live environment.
Mm.
And I think people like that kind of
White man with 2 jeans.
background noise
White man 2 jeans.
with some...
White man with 2.
Like, people enjoy to hear that kind of stuff. Like, the sounds of people in the cafe. It helps them concentrate. It helps them work. Because they feel like they're in a coffee shop socializing with other people.
Yeah. So does that mean that
Ginger head for the red balls.
if you're working...
It's not... It's
if they're recording that with that in the background, are you the guy editing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so How is the thing mic'd up?
You barely hear the cafe. It's like
Right.
it's just in the background.
But you feel that it kind of invades the conversation topic-wise.
I think it
Some
helps.
attitude-wise, or I don't know.
No, I think it helps the I think it helps people just listen to it.
Yeah.
That
sure.
kind of cafe background audio.
It's like flavoured water.
Yeah.
Is this what heaven feels like for Grant?
We get to talk about Can.
The vitamin C, is that the thing? Is that one?
Tajo Majo is my favourite record.
I don't know anything about.
Oh.
I know very little about Can. All I
You
know
should
is
check out some Can.
I know everyone tells me to. Yeah, everyone just fuck off for a second. I know it's good. Do you know how much good stuff there is in the world that I have to see?
Yeah,
there's so much.
There's so much.
My
in so little time.
criteria is being invaded. It's a tsunami of just. That was a bad example, but it is a huge. I can't stop all the stuff coming at me. I need to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Arbitrarily, what great stuff I will listen to, you know? It seems odd, like I don't even have a criteria. It just happens to reach me at some moment. I don't know how to explain that.
I think it just, when the stars are light, when the time is right, you ended up just, I don't know, you might put it on for some reason, and then next thing you know, it's like, this is awesome.
When people tell me that I should check out a band or this would be amazing, which I do to people all the time also, something that we don't factor in, and you only remember this when you're the receiver, is that there's so much great stuff out there. And there's no shortage of incredible things, and the internet has made everything possible. You do find yourself creating these arbitrary criterias, and...
Yeah. I have like a very distinct way of how my show kind of flows.
Right.
So you start with like... Again, this comes off as a total wank, but I've thought this over many times. So it kind of starts with like the more easy listening poppy stuff, and then it slowly works its way, gets coarser and coarser until you end up the last song of the night is like some kind of insane 9-minute math prog rock, electronic feat.
I think a lot of people do that. We kind of treated it slightly differently, or the way that I was taught the show that I was taking on was supposed to be like was that it starts off. Like the singles, like the most poppy edge of the stuff that you're playing that would be considered very cool, generally high energy, and then slowly drop it down, and then sort of you reach a sort of slow point at some point, or you would kind of you'd end on one high note or something odd, or a couple of high notes.
Okay, I think everyone, again, depending on what they're into, has their own way of stylizing the flow of a playlist.
So if yours was graphed, would it be kind of like a, straight, what are you, linear kind of
like
intensity?
a straight line, going from
roughly like intensity of time. Yeah,
diagonal line. I wouldn't say it's completely diagonal.
Yeah,
I would say it would be more like a wavy. Line that goes diagonally. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, and some of the waves are bigger than the others, and it's
Like even though it might be, for example, like I might play like. Again, I can't say this without feeling like I'm saying like a complete wanker for some reason, because I've seen High Fidelity so many times. It's like I don't want to turn into John Cusack and having to write lists like every 5 minutes. Anyway, sorry.
I never loved that movie.
I loved it.
I do like it. I like it because I'm the guy with the music.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are the guys with the music. It's like a whole fucking race.
He's a dick in that, and no one likes to be a dick.
Reason. There's so little of it in today's world.
There's so much great music in the world that how could you possibly consume all of it?
Yeah.
You have to have something, and sometimes the criteria is it just was exposed to me through this. That's, I think, probably the best radio, like just being like the strange stuff, the stuff you find in the stranger places, I think, is sometimes the best.
Yeah. That's and
like Nala. Have you heard Nala?
I love Nala. They also supported psychedelic psychedelic
porn crumpets. Yeah. We opened. They were the main headliner, and then there was psychedelic porn crumpets. Yeah,
no,
so
it was great, and I've had
they're amazing.
Jack and Nick and Clayton on the show.
Yeah,
and they're the coolest guys to talk to. Like we spoke for ages about just like heavy blues rock music and just writing licks and stuff like that.
Nyla are a three-piece from Sydney that kind of do this. It is kind of sludgy. It is kind of...
Yeah, it's just
especially in the Chippendale Hotel, it sounded a little bit sludgy, but, you know, it was one of the songs, maybe the last one, where it was this sort of brilliant use of time signatures being a little bit weird. Like, it was a groovy... It wasn't hard to follow, except every 20 seconds or something, or like it would be just, they just do this thing and for a second. What? Where are we now?
Yeah,
and then, we're back. Okay, right, okay. Clayton's a fucking phenomenal drummer.
Clayton also played a little bit for Julia Jacklin as well recently too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's such a Oh, really? Oh, you played for Julia Jacklin. I wish I was driving for Julia Jacklin. Oh, did he? He got a job with the ABC.
And that's the thing. There's always stuff out there. As much as I love people making music, there's always going to be stuff that's coming in that I just generally don't think fits the kind of vibe and the kind of display of creatability that I would like to showcase that's coming from backyard suburbia of Australia.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but what can you do, man?
Cameron is doing air guitar to the
Just
Auteur.
that break.
If you haven't heard Dumb Saints, they're an amazing band from Sydney featuring. They make movies that are perfectly click-tracked in the drummer's ear, I think, to play along to what they do live.
And it's great because the last time I saw Dumb Saint, they brought
is this the launch?
beanbags. Yeah, they brought beanbags. And
I heard about this. I was away. I couldn't do it.
It was great. We sat in the beanbag, we shared a box of popcorn and watched Dumb Saint play on the stage of the factory, and they had their movie projected behind them at the same time. And their
movies are fantastically shot.
Yeah. It was a very intense film.
Nick Andrews' drumming is fantastic.
On this record especially, this tune, I've never seen someone do so many things that cross their arms.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about what you would call the style of drumming. I just know, like, just arms going everywhere, and it always
You just call that Danny Carey style. Yeah. Danny Carey from Tool.
You're playing in, like, what is it, Fibonacci sequence?
Yep, yeah. Oh, Tool. Are you a fan of Tool?
I'm a huge fan of Tool.
Oh, I love Tool.
I'm a Tool. Sorry, you're going about Tool fans. Two camps of Tool fans.
Returning to Tool fans. You have one half that are just normal people and like good music and like interesting things, and even though it's kind of dark and shit, it's great. You know, you like Marilyn Manson as well. And then there's the other half who are just meathead Joe Rogan conspiracy theory. Just
are they the ones that have neck beards and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Neck beard Tool fans, all you have to say, and that's it. I'm out of there. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm tapping out.
Did you catch them? They came out last time? Oh no, they come out a whole bunch of times. They come out 3 times for the one album.
First time I say, exactly, because it's been nearly 27 years since 10,000 Days was released.
Yeah.
I saw them when they came out with that record.
It's been like 30,000 days.
At the Entertainment Center. The first time I saw Tool was great because there was this Mexican wave going around the Entertainment Center.
Yeah, I was there. 2006,
nice.
Right?
Yeah. 2006, 2007, something like that.
2007 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was the 10,000 Days tour.
Yeah. And it was such a good vibe in the room, and there's this fucking huge Mexican wave going around the entire kind of arena, and then like the mosh pit joins in as well, and keeps going around. And
when the vibe is so good before a gig.
Yeah.
That's great. There was a little bit of that before.
I just got chills thinking about that.
It was a time I saw Pearl Jam, and it did not sell out. And it was like a thing in the media that this third Pearl Jam show that they added because of popular demand wasn't selling out. So they had to it was supposed to be at the Superdome, and they closed off a portion of it. But they offered discounted advance to like Pearl Jam Club members.
Oh, cool.
And they just packed it out with these cheap seats. And it was the best vibe because everyone was just like, we don't want Pearl Jam to think that this city sucks.
Yeah.
I went to a gay wedding about a year ago because of a guy I know who had a British passport so they could get legally married under British law. It was like the best vibe because everyone was just like, yeah, we need to show society that this is loved. This is, smiled upon. Cameron, how do you pronounce your surname?
It's Menegoni.
Menegoni. Cameron Menegoni.
That's correct. There you go.
From 2SER, host of the band Next Door, a contributor at Bridgewave, Eagle Waves Radio. And thank you so much for stopping by.
Oh, no
Curator
worries, man.
of local music.
I'll take it.
Promoter in the literal sense of the word, not the professional sense of the word.
Number one fan. Just fan.
Just fan.
Just call me fan.
Yeah. You're a cool fucking fan, man. I had a phrasing of this that I'll quickly check on the computer, and I know you have to go in a second. All right, I was saying thank you for being so selfless in giving your time to it. Like but being a fan is almost selfless in a way. And as a member of a band that is going okay at the moment, but we struggled for a long time. I think one of the only times that we were played on the radio was with you. It was you played Aeroplane or something.
Yeah, I found Aeroplane.
Yeah, I don't know. That was really nice of you, and not like nice, like you enjoyed it. That's why you played it, or you saw something in it. That's why you played it. But regardless, we didn't know who to email. We didn't know what we were supposed to be doing. We didn't have lists of people to contact and stuff to promote and shit like that. You went out and sought it, and I got a real kick out of that. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoy what you do for the scene. Yeah,
you're very welcome, man. I'm just happy to listen and. Yeah, I'm happy to listen.
Awesome. Is there a song that you'd like to finish out with tonight?
Okay.
Something cheesy.
Okay. Can I please get that song by the Beach Boys that's in the movie Cocktail?
Oh, I don't know what this is.
Da 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 Bermuda. Bahama, come on, crazy mama.
No, I was all off. That's my enough. You went down. All right.
I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Coco Mama, although I could be wrong.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out later. I think you have to go. All right. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Shaun. Thanks, man.
It's such a good vibration. It's such a sweet sensation. I plan to read Fast Food Nation. I've been waiting at stand more station.
End bracket.